Diaper Fair, Scene 1. Just a quick one. Now, on with the show. I hate these things. Why the hell do you even want to be here? Jemima, this is our beautiful city's fair. Why don't you try to unwind and not be such an ass? Jemima looked at her friend and scowled. This isn't a fair, it's just one of those traveling wage shows hired by the city to fleece idiots. As she was talking, a man painted as a clown was coming right at her, holding balloons. These things are run by criminals anyways. The man stopped and turned to her. AW, does the young lady need to be cheered up? Jemima looked down her nose as he offered her a balloon. Do I look like some of child? Take that balloon and stick it up your dash. But the clown cut her off. Not a child, just a cranky little baby that probably needs a diaper change and a nap. She angrily pointed her finger at the man. At least I'm not some freak walking around in bright pink polka dots and trying to sell a bunch of balloons to idiots. She started to angrily turn away, but before she could lower her hand he looped a string attached to a balloon around her wrist. Oh. Well, have one on the house then. Jemima felt like screaming, but the clown turned and quickly disappeared into the mass of people and was gone. Jemima tried to find his balloons above the crowd, but even they weren't in sight. Jemima, let's just go, that guy really freaks me out. Tanya, we aren't leaving till I can stick this damn thing up his ass. Let's go find him. Tanya tried to get her to stop, but she could barely keep up as Jemima started pushing her way through the crowd. If it wasn't for the bright red balloon floating above her friend, she would have quickly lost her. Finally, she saw the balloon stop and float calmly in place. Tanya pushed her way past one last couple and saw Jemima standing alone looking over towards the right side of the fair. Jemima, what are you doing? You'll never find him, just pull that thing off and let's go home. Who cares what some tard in a clown suit said? Jemima looked at her friend and scowled. You don't have to help, you can go back to the stage area and I'll come back when I'm done here. Tanya looked at her, and the scowl on her face. She couldn't think of anything to say. She dropped her gaze to the ground and saw a crumpled dollar bill laying on the ground between them. She squatted down and picked it up. Before she stood, she took a quick peek at the bill and noticed it wasn't just $1, it was a 10 spot. Jemima, check it out. Looks like we're eating good today. Jemima looked down at her. What? Tanya started to stand. I said, I found a dash, but she stopped. Her face was even with Jemima's waist and she was looking at something odd peeking out over the top of her jeans. Jemima. What? She looked down at her friend and saw her staring at her stomach. You go gay on me all of a sudden, Tanya. Tanya slowly stood and stepped back. Jemima. I think you need to look at it yourself. Jemima looked down, expecting to see a stain, or a tear, but instead she saw a belt of white plastic circling her waist. Exposing more plastic, and what looked like wide tapes holding everything together on either side. It's a dash. Diaper. Tanya put her hands to her face. Why the hell are you wearing a diaper? Tanya stepped farther away from her friend. Oh shit, that clown did this. You've got to find him and apologize. But Jemima wasn't listening. Hey. What are you two doing over there? Jemima and Tanya looked over and saw a police officer trying to walk towards them. Let's get the hell out of here, I'm not going to jail in a diaper. The two girls ran the opposite direction of the approaching cop. The crowd seemed to part for them, and then closed tightly around the officer. They quickly put plenty of distance behind them and stopped again. Tanya sat down on a bench and started to catch her breath, while Jemima tried to pull her shirt down and tuck it into her pants. Tanya finally felt like she could talk. Hiding it now? Just take it off. I'm not going to take a diaper off in front of so many people again. I was stupid last time. We need to get back home, or find a porta potty. Tanya just shook her head, stood up and stretched. Well, at least you could take that stupid balloon off now. Jemima looked at her wrist where the balloon was tied on. She grabbed the loop, but it was tied tight. When she tried to pull it off over her hand, it wouldn't fit over. Damn, it's stuck on tight. You have anything I can use to cut this off? Tanya opened her purse and searched through it. Nothing, we just went to a concert a few days ago, and I had to take everything that could be used as a weapon out. What about your purse? Jemima twisted around and grabbed the purse slung over her shoulder. She unzipped it, took a quick look and suddenly stopped. Tanya saw a look of disgust cross her face, then she threw the purse as far away as she could. Tanya watched confused. What the hell was that about? That wasn't my purse, that damn clown must have switched it somehow. Tanya looked over towards where the purse lay. It looks like your purse to me. It even has that patch we ironed on it a few weeks ago. Whatever, it's not my purse anymore. Let's get out of here, I want out of this diaper. Tanya just hunched her shoulders and started walking away with Jemima. They made it about 30 feet away when they heard a female voice calling out to them. Excuse me, young ladies. They both turned and saw a woman only feet away, carrying the discarded purse. She walked right up to Tanya. I think you dropped this. Oh. No. It's not mine. But the lady didn't listen. She draped the strap from the purse over her shoulder and gave a cheerful wave as she walked away. Weird Jemima, what's the deal? Why did you throw Dash? Then she stopped talking as she looked into the purse and saw what looked like more diapers. Why the hell is your purse full of diapers? Jemima angrily grabbed the purse and zipped it closed. I don't know. But I don't want to stick around any longer to find out. Let's get moving. What about your purse? Jemima tossed it into her arms. Bring it, I don't care, let's just get going. They started speed walking back home as fast as they could through the crowd. Tanya followed Jemima and let her set the pace in the direction they went. After several minutes they were more than halfway through the fair. Tanya tried to keep looking ahead, but her eyes kept going down to her friend's butt. She didn't know for sure, but it looked like her pants and shirt had changed. And the bulge of the diaper underneath seemed to be more pronounced. As they walked it looked like Jemima's gait was changing to more of a waddle. Tanya hoped she was wrong, but she just couldn't be sure. Jemima. Please, we gotta stop. I need to let my legs rest for a few minutes. Please. Jemima stopped and turned to Tanya. Fine. She pointed over behind a concession stand at a low bench. Over there. Tanya followed her waddling friend and sat down when she reached the bench. She let her legs dangle lazily below her, but Jemima kept standing. Jemima, sit down for a few minutes. No, not till this effing diaper is off. She glanced around and tried to see if there were any porta potties around. Damn it. Don't they any places to take a piss around here? Tanya didn't answer. She watched as her friend seemed to grow more frantic. This is bullshit. I want this thing off now. As Jemima almost yelled, now, Tanya watched her bend her knees in together. She thought it looked odd for her to be standing like that. Jemima. Is there a problem? Jemima seemed to get angry. She stepped closer and almost thrust her diapered crotch into Tanya's face. She dropped her voice to almost a whisper and spoke, yeah, I'm in a damn diaper. I'd say that's a problem. And it's starting to make me sweat too. Tanya started to lean away from her friend, but a strange smell hit her nose. Instead she leaned forward and took a whiff. Oh shit, she thought, that smells like piss. She reached out and with a motion learned for years of babysitting touched and squeezed the diaper. Jemima jumped back. What the hell, Tanya? Jemima, we've got a problem. I don't think you're sweating, I think Dash. But Jemima angrily cut her off. I think you're the one with the problem. What the hell do you think you're doing? Jemima, keep your voice down. I was just checking and I think Dash. Jemima put her hands up, and a look of surprise crossed her face. you were checking my dash. She stopped herself in time. You sick bitch. Do you really think I'd use this damn thing? She started stepping backwards away from Tanya. When she felt a strong arm around her waist, a mature female voice sounded from behind her. Whoa there, little lady. You've got to be careful when you're walking in a crowd. Jemima looked up at her, ready to tear her a new arsehole when she felt something slipped into her mouth. There we go. A nice pacifier to keep you calm. Tanya looked on as the lady clipped it to Jemima's shirt. The lady noticed Tanya watching. Are you her babysitter? Tanya just kind of nodded her head as Jemima turned to stare at her. She had already spit out the pacifier and was trying to remove the clip holding it to her shirt. Well, I think you should keep a close eye on her, she could have got hurt. Jemima grew more angry as the woman talked about her as if she couldn't understand what was being said. She pointed her finger at the woman. She's not watching me, we were looking for a porta potty or something so we could use the bathroom. The woman knelt in front of her and smiled. Well, I just happened to work this show, and I know right where there's several. Then as she went to get up she said a quiet, whoops, looks like you couldn't wait, huh? Let's get you cleaned up. Jemima looked down at herself in disbelief. She followed the woman's gaze and could see 2 dark crescents on either side of her crotch. No, I didn't, she stammered, I didn't pee my pants. The woman looked back at Tanya as she grabbed Jemima's hand. I don't think that small bag has a new change of clothes. Why don't we take a walk and I'll loan her a pair of dry pants, you can bring them back later. Tanya looked at Jemima, and got a sheepish nod in return. Sure, I guess that's okay. She walked up to them and followed as they walked back into the center of the fair. They came to an area that was roped off from the public, and quickly slipped beneath them. They weaved between trailers and finally came to a stop in front of a rather drab-looking stainless steel Comet. The woman still had Jemima's hand in her own and turned to look at Tanya. There's not a lot of room in there, why don't you wait out here, and we'll be right out. Okay. Tanya looked at Jemima, but she seemed defeated. The sodden diaper between her legs was bulging to one side of her pants, and leaking even more on that side. I guess. See you in a few, Jemima. Jemima turned and looked at her friend as the door closed behind her. Then she looked down and stared at the floor. The woman's trailer smelled nice. And it made her feel a little bit better. The woman took a few steps away, then came back with a moist towel. I don't need diapers. Just give me the pants. You don't need diapers? Then why did I just see you in a wet one? If you're wearing something of mine, I'm not going to have you ruin it. Jemima started to wrap the towel around her waist. Fine, I'll just wear this out. The lady sighed and grabbed the pacifier hanging off Jemima's shirt, and stuck it in her mouth again. I guess baby needs her parky to calm down again. Jemima spit it out almost immediately, but the woman grabbed it again, and this time held it in place for a few seconds. Jemima tried to spit it out. She grabbed at the hand holding it in her mouth, but she wasn't strong enough to budge it. She started to pull away with her body. The woman just smiled and cooed at her gently. Then Jemima felt her anger slipping away.